Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Welcome to our Bhakti Sastri discussion. Today we will start chapter 15 of the Bhagavad Gita.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, many haven't joined because the time you have given was 8:30.
Oh, really?
Yes, Prabhu.
Oh, I did a mistake. Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh, Krishna.
You know, with what intention
Yes, you are correct.
I knew she would work. So anyway, I could ask her. What then I asked?
Why nobody questioned me yesterday?
She's working now. She's not.
One second. Then how both of you appear at 8 o'clock?
Like as usual, Prabhu, like I thought it's 8 p.m. it's going to start. Like that I joined, Prabhu.
Yeah,
I
but
just checked, Prabhu, by mistake,
Yes.
like you would have given, just I thought I
Yes.
will check in.
Oh, Krishna. Yeah, this has happened. Anyway, I send a message. So Krishna. Okay, that's fine. I will not wait for another half an hour to start the class. Yeah. We will just start discussing. Okay. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhuttale Swayam Rupa Kadam Ahyam Dadati Swapadam Vande Ham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Parakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavam Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Shahagana Raghunatam Vikam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakanitam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Site Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhudya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangungam Payate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Sri Guru Nivata Hare Krishna. So chapter 15 of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Yes. Chapter entitled Purushottama Yoga, or the yoga of the topmost person. Yeah. So before entering chapter 15, I would like to hear some of you sharing something from chapter 14 that what we still remember, just to refresh our memory. Please, maybe some of you. Our new appearing face here, Anuradha Mataji.
After a very long time. Okay.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
Okay, let's hear from Sudamayi Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
What you still remember in chapter 14?
Prabhu, in chapter 14, Krishna glorifies the transcendental knowledge, and Krishna gives us the information about the root cause of the jiva's entanglement in the material world. Then, then how the three modes binds the jivas in the material world. Even the goodness also binds the jiva in the material world. Then we learnt about the how there is also competition among the three modes to dominate one another. Then the result of one's work in particular modes of nature. Then what will be the destination when one dies in particular modes of nature. Then finally Arjuna asks 3 questions, like the symptom of transcendentalist, then what is his behavior, and how one can come out of the 3 modes of the material nature.
Thank you. That's a lot of stuff that you mentioned. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you so much. Any other devotee would like to add a few more points from what Sudamayi Mataji already mentioned?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
Only
Gita,
by
Gita
pure
Mataji.
bhakti, only by pure bhakti, one can transcend the modes and can come to the level of Brahman.
Yes.
That's what Krishna says. And
Yes.
Krishna is that source of Brahman.
So how the person who transcends the 3 modes of material nature behaves?
Yeah, it's told that Gunatita.
He acts equally, yeah,
Yes.
toward honor and
Only
dishonor.
divinity.
Yes. Yes. So a
So
person
honor,
takes so
dishonor,
much.
sukha,
Yes.
dukkha, all same.
Yes. Happiness and distress. Thank you. Yes. So that's the symptom of a person who is transcending the 3 modes of material nature. Yes. He will act equally, both in happiness and distress, and honor and dishonor. Yeah, because most of the times everybody wanted to be praised. Nobody wants to be disrespectfully treated, right? Everybody wants to be praised, everybody wants to be honored. But for a person who transcends the 3 modes of material nature, then for him, honor and dishonor is actually same. Yeah, happiness and distress in terms of material happiness and distress, for him is the same. Yeah. And Lord Krishna answers Arjuna's last question: how can a person transcend the 3 modes of material nature? Yeah. Saguna samatitaitan brahma bhuyaya prapate mam chayo vya vicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatitaitan brahma bhuyaya prapate. So Krishna clearly mentioned only through pure devotional service. Avya vicharena bhakti. Yeah, avya vicharena bhakti means undeviated devotional service. Yeah, that means completely just focusing in one attention, that is Krishna. Yeah, so only those who are fully engaged in devotional service, he can transcend the 3 modes of material nature. Yeah, okay. So now we will enter chapter 15. Yes. Yoga of this Krishna, I'm sorry. Yoga of the Supreme Person. Chapter 14 describes the modes of nature, those forces that restrict and control a soul within its field of activities. Now Krishna, using the allegory of an Aswata banyan tree, describes the entire material world with its varieties of fields and activities situated on higher and lower branches of that tree. Yeah. So from text 1 to 5, we will be discussing about becoming detached from the material world, and from 6 to 11, transmigration of the living entities. Yes. So 1 to 5, although the living entities are Krishna's fragmented parts, they are now struggling for existence. Being entangled in this banyan tree of the material world, one must detach oneself from this reflection of the spiritual world by surrendering to Krishna and thus proceed to the spiritual world. The banyan tree is analyzed in the first 5 verses of this chapter, okay, 6 to 11. Although all living entities are eternally parts and parcel of Krishna, they are transmigrating from one body to another in search of pleasure. Transcendentalists see this clearly, but not the blind materialists. Okay. So I displayed this in the beginning. This is from Srila Prabhupada's purport in text number 1. Yeah. In the previous chapters, it has been explained that there are many processes by which to get out of material entanglement. And up to the 13th chapter, we have seen that devotional service to the Supreme Lord is the best way. Now, the basic principle of devotional service is detachment from material activities and attachment to the transcendental service of the Lord. The process of breaking attachment to the material world is discussed in the beginning of this chapter. Okay. So here is the famous verse of text 1, chapter 15. Yeah. Sri Bhagavad Vacha Ruddhamula Madasakam Aswatam Rahur Avyayam Chandam Siyasya Parnani Yastam Veda Sabe. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its root upward and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. Yeah, Yastam Vedas Vedavit. Vedavit means one who knows the Vedas. Yeah. That's Srila Prabhupada's purport. The entanglement of this material world is compared here to a banyan tree. For one who is engaged in fruitive activities, there is no end to the banyan tree. He wanders from one branch to another, to another, to another. The tree of this material world has no end. And for one who is attached to this tree, there is no possibility of liberation. The Vedic hymns meant for elevating oneself are called the leaves of this tree. This tree's roots grows upward because they began from where Brahma is located, the topmost planet of this universe. If one can understand this indestructible tree of illusion, then one can get out of it. In other words, the tree of this material world is only a reflection of the real tree of the spiritual world. This reflection of the spiritual world is situated on desire, just as a tree's reflection is situated on water. Desire is the cause of things being situated in this reflected material light. One who wants to get out of this material existence must know this tree thoroughly through analytical study. Then he can cut off his relationship with it. Okay. So this asvata, the banyan tree, is actually the material world, which is actually the reflection of the spiritual world. So this asvata, which urdhva mulam adasakam, the root going upward and branches downward. So none other than the reflection of the real tree. What is the real tree? The spiritual world. Yeah. So what is the nature of a reflection? So reflection will do something opposite of the real one. Yeah. So where we can find this tree that has root upward and branch downward on the banks of a lake or a river. Yeah. So we see there is a tree. There is a tree grows on the banks of a lake, and then the reflection in the water is actually opposite the real tree. So that is the material world. Yes. And the root of this tree is situated on the top where Lord Brahma is located. Yeah, the first living creature. Yeah. So reflection by nature will do the opposite things, right? If you are standing in the front of a mirror, you lift your right hand, so the person in the front of you will lift the left hand. Yes. So also, Srila Prabhupada explained that prema in the spiritual world becomes kama in the material world. Just like a pure milk get in touch with sour tamarind, it becomes yogurt. Yes, it looks same white color, but the taste is different. Yes. Therefore, what is the highest rasa in the spiritual world? Parakya rasa, right? When Krishna has relationship with the gopis who are married. Yeah. So this is called parakya rasa. That love can be found only in Raj. Yes. That is swakya rasa. And that kind of rasa is found in Dwaraka. Krishna and his queen. This is called swakya. Krishna with the gopis in Vrindavan is called parakya. But if you exhibit that kind of relationship in the material world, this kind of parakya rasa, it becomes disgusting. Right? If you have a relationship with somebody's husband or somebody's wife, that's considered to be disgusting. But in the spiritual world, that is the highest. Yeah. So that's the opposite. Why it's considered to be the highest? Because the gopis, they are ready to give up everything just to meet Krishna in the middle of night. Yes. So that is called saranagati, surrendering everything to Krishna. Yeah. But that cannot be exhibited here. Otherwise, that becomes the reflection of the original rasa. It becomes simply lusty. Yeah. So that is the nature of the material world. Yeah. And yastam Vedas Vedavik. And the Vedas is considered to be the leaves of this tree. Yeah. And desire, this tree is based on desire. Yeah. So because of our desire, then we are situated here. So the water is the desire which reflects the world. Okay. Next, the branches of this tree extend downward and upward, nourished by the three modes of material nature. The twigs are the objects of the senses. This tree also has roots going down, and these are bound to the fruitive action of human society. As a tree is nourished by water, so this tree is nourished by the three modes of material nature. The tendencies toward piety and impiety are considered to develop from these secondary roots, which spread in all directions. The real root is from Brahmaloka, and the other roots are in the human planetary system. After one enjoys the result of virtuous activities in the upper planetary systems, he comes down to this earth and renews his karma or fruitive activities for promotion. This planet of human beings is considered the field of activities. Okay. So the tree is nourished by the three modes of material nature. Yeah, it moves by Krishna's energy. So the three modes of material nature is the powerful energy of the Lord, which actually nourishes this banyan tree. So under the spell of these three modes of material nature, so we as human, we act differently. Yeah, so that activities will create result of the karma, and then we can enjoy our suffering accordingly. Yes. So when one enjoys in the upper planetary system, after his piety is finished, then he has to come down. Yeah. The Earth planet is considered to be the field of the activities, spiritual activities. Because here you can create bad or good result. Yeah. In the upper planetary system, you simply enjoy. And then in lower planetary system, you simply get the punishment to finish off your bad karmic reaction. Yeah. But here is the place where you are working. Yeah, to enjoy or suffer later. Text 3 and 4. Yeah, the real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. No one can understand where its end, where it begins, or where its foundation is. But with determination, one must cut down this strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. Thereafter, one must seek that place from which, having gone, one never returns, and there surrender to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything began and from whom everything has extended since time immemorial. Okay, Asanga Sastrena, by the weapon of detachment. Asanga means detachment. The word asanga is very important in this connection because the attachment for sense enjoyment and lording it over the material nature is very strong. Therefore, one must learn detachment by discussion of spiritual science based on authoritative scriptures. And one must hear from persons who are actually in knowledge. As a result of such discussion, in the association of devotees, one comes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then the first thing one must do is surrender to him. Yeah. Talking about detachment. Yeah. That's the only way how we can get out of this material world is detachment. If we still have slight attachment in the material world, then there is no chance to go back or back to God. The best example is just like Bharat Maharaj. Yeah. Even it is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam in Canto 6 that actually Bharat Maharaj is already on the level of Bhava Bhakti, where actually Srila Rupa Goswami explained that those who are on the level of Bhava Bhakti, generally they will not fall down. Yeah, they will not fall down. Look at Bharat Maharaj. He gave up his family, he gave up his entire kingdom just to surrender to Krishna. And somehow or other, this baby deer came into the scene and he became worried. Yeah. Oh, who will take care of this baby deer? He became attached. And finally, on the last moment, when he about to leave the body, he's still remembering the baby deer. Oh, poor baby deer, who will take care of him now? And finally, he left the body. So that's slight attachment will make us failure. Yes, will make us failure. But of course, the very nature of devotional service is that there is no loss. Yeah, Neha Vikramanas, they come back to this verse again. Yeah, there is no loss. So you will restart again. If you do like 90% bhakti and then you cannot go back, come back to Godhead. And then in the next slide, you will start from that point. Yeah, Bharat Maharaj got the body of a deer, but then he was blessed that actually he could remember about his real identity in the previous life. Therefore, while getting the body of a deer, yes, he used to come to listen from the sages in the forest, yeah, about Krishna Katha. So he was continuing his devotional service through hearing. Yeah, so that's how dangerous it is. Even a slight attachment will fail us. Yeah, but then talking about detachment, how can one becomes detached? Yeah. By engaging in devotional service, naturally one becomes attached to Krishna. If one attaches to Krishna, then naturally one becomes detached from the material world. Yes, one cannot become simply detached without attaching oneself to Krishna. Yeah, how much one can refrain from, let's say, eating chocolate. Yeah, how much you can restrain yourself from eating chocolate. Yeah, you can take a vow now of not eating chocolate anymore. But then the temptation is always there. Yeah. Although you know the principle that chocolate is not so favorable for our development in Krishna consciousness. Yes, but the temptation is so strong. Yes, that is one thing. Another example also, like those who are trying to be vegetarian. Yeah. A vegetarian is actually just a moral ethic that every human being should follow. But unless you become a devotee, to become vegetarian is so tough. But now you are a devotee, somehow or other, when you just smell onion or garlic or what to speak of meat, you feel that you want to vomit. Right? So that is the power of devotional service. You are attached to Krishna. Then naturally you become detached from any other things apart from devotional service. Yeah, no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication. For most people in this material world, is really, really hard. Yeah, unless one becomes a devotee, then there is no hope for them to refrain from intoxication, to refrain from gambling. Yes. So the power of devotional service will help us to become detached from the material world. Yeah. So asanga sastrena, sastra means weapon. So asanga sastrena, we have to cut down this banyan tree. Cutting down the banyan tree doesn't mean cutting down the material world. It's impossible. Cutting down means to cut down our relationship with the tree. Yeah. The relationship with the banyan tree should be cut off. Cut the tree with the axe of the detachment. And this very nice verse here, text number 5. Those who are free from false prestige, illusion, and false association, who understand the eternal, who are done with material lusts, and who are free from dualities of happiness and distress, and who, unbewildered, know how to surrender unto the Supreme Person, attain to that eternal kingdom. Yes. So the first thing here mentioned is that nirmana moha. Nirmana moha means to free from illusion. Purport. The surrendering process is described here very nicely. The first qualification is that one should not be deluded by pride, because the conditioned soul is puffed up, thinking himself the Lord of material nature. It is very difficult for him to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yes. So very difficult. Yes. Therefore, Krishna mentions here nirmana moha, ajita sanga dosa, and free from all kind of dosa, false, Jita Sangha dosa, Adhyatma Nitya, Vinivritta Kamaha, free from lust. Yes. So in the third chapter, yes, Krishna explained to Arjuna, this lust is the greatest devouring enemies. Yeah. So free from lust. Yes, it is very interesting actually. Sometimes we are thinking that, oh, if I'm free from sexual desire, that means I'm free from lust. But lust can be subtle also. You know, lust can be subtle also. That, of course, sexual intercourse is like the grossest form of lust that can human exhibit in this material world. But when we have any desire which is actually not favorable in our Krishna consciousness activities, that is also considered to be lust. Yes. Because the main principle of lust is actually enjoying separately from Krishna. That is lust. Yes. So as simple as that. Yeah. Being free from lust. Jita Sangha dosa Adhyatma Nitya Vinivritta Kamaha Dvandvair Vimukta Sukadu Kasamjair, and becomes equal toward happiness and distress. Also not at all easy. Dvandvair Vimukta, and free from dualities. Sukadu Kasamjair. So happiness and distress. And then if one can overcome all these problem, then Gachanta Muda Padam Avayanta. Yeah, Gachati, he will go to that abode. Yeah, Krishna's abode. So somehow or other we have to fight to survive in the material world, especially with our false ego. Yeah. So who is the greatest enemy? Yeah, we think that, oh, this country is that country, that people, that people. But that greatest enemy is within our heart. That lust, yeah, the tendency to be separated from Krishna. How many people can, be always with Krishna? It's so hard, to find such a pure devotee. Yeah, very hard. But somehow or other, now we are connected to the movement and we get this information. Yes. In that verse of Vyavasayatmika Buddhir Ekeha Guru Nandana Bausaka Yanantasya Buddhayo Vyavasayana 2.41. Yeah. So Vyavasayatmika Buddhi means when one is fixed in Krishna consciousness. Ekeha Guru Nandana. He has only one pointed attention. Yeah, resolute determination. But Bahusaka Yanantasya, those who are not engaged in devotional service, they have so many things in their mind. Yeah. Their mind has so many branches. And Srila Prabhupada explained toward the end of the purport to that verse 2.41. He mentioned actually the importance of transcendental knowledge. One should completely understand the science of devotional service or transcendental knowledge, not only philosophically, but also practically. That means we have to realize, yeah, Prabhupada mentioned not only philosophically, but also practically where there is no chance of sense gratification in fruitive activities. Yes, you can read again this verse, yeah, 2.41. Toward the end of the purport, Prabhupada mentioned that. Yeah, so unless one have this great determination in performing devotional service, then one's mind will wander here and there. That is the nature of the mind. And amongst all the senses, the mind is the leaders. Yeah, that will be explained. Okay, so here the surrendering process, yeah, by which actually we can attain that eternal kingdom. Yeah. So especially with pride, yes, I put up all these pictures, yeah, such as Lord Brahma, Lord Indra, and Bali Maharaj. Yeah, how they get so high position, and then this position makes them becomes proud. Yes, but ultimately they must surrender to Krishna. Brahma, yeah, Indra, Bali Maharaj, yeah, invincible king. Yes, and ultimately they must surrender to Krishna. Okay? Doesn't matter how big is your position. Okay, text number 6 now. Natad basayate suryo nasa sampurna pavata yadgatva nanivartante tadhama paramam mama. So in text number 5, Krishna explained that if you do all this, this is the surrendering process. Then if you surrender to Krishna, you will enter another dimension of creation beyond this Aswata tree. Yeah. And that description is here given from text number 6. Yes. That supreme abode of mind is not illuminated by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material one. Therefore, the spiritual world, the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, which is known as Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavan, is described here. In the spiritual sky, there is no need of sun sign, moon sign, fire, or electricity, because all planets are self-luminous. As long as a living entity is in this dark material world, he is in conditional life. But as soon as he reaches the spiritual sky by cutting through the false, perverted tree of this material world, he becomes liberated. Then there is no chance of his coming back here. In his conditional life, the living entity considers himself to be the Lord of this material world. But in his liberated state, he enters into the spiritual kingdom and becomes an associate of the Supreme Lord. There, he enjoys eternal bliss, eternal life, and full of knowledge. Yeah. One should be captivated by this information. He should desire to transfer himself to that eternal world and extricate himself from this false reflection of reality. For one who is too much attached to this material world, it is very difficult to cut that attachment. But if he takes the Krishna consciousness, there is a chance of gradually becoming detached. Yes. So, this loka, natad basayate suryo nasa sampurna pava. Krishna giving us the information that in the spiritual world, there is no need of sunshine and moonlight. Does it mean that sun doesn't exist there? Is moon existing in the spiritual world or not? Is sun existing in the spiritual world or not? Anybody would like to comment on that?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanutana?
Yes, Ramesh Prabhu.
No, Prabhu.
Why not?
Brahmajyoti is there, there's no necessity of light.
Okay, but the question is that the sun existing or not? The moon existing or not?
Krishna's body illuminates.
God illuminates directly. No necessities.
So there is
I understand your question, Prabhu.
so
Hare Krishna.
there is no sun in the spiritual world, isn't it?
Yeah.
Huh?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Can I try that, Prabhu?
Yeah, Anuradha Mataji, please go
Uh,
ahead.
Like we say sun god, we have the soul as well as the entity, the
Hmm.
material in body, or how the matter. So the sun as a matter is not there, but sun god as a soul is present. But yeah, as a God himself is so luminous that you don't need the light of the sun or the moon. That's something I want to
So
add.
the sun doesn't exist in the spiritual world.
Yes, Prabhu.
God's eyes are the sun and the moon, right?
Yes, that is that verse later in this chapter. Yeah, sun and moon are Krishna's eyes. So, by the way, what this sloka meant to inform us is that Natat Basayate Suryo Na Sasanko Napavaka. That means Krishna told here clearly that there is no, it is not, yeah, there is no necessity for the sun and the moonlight. That means the residents of the spiritual world, they are not depending on the sun and the moon for their existence to live there. But here in the material world, we are completely depending on sun. We are completely depending on moon. Otherwise, if there is no moonlight, there is no taste for the fruits. There is no taste of the vegetables. Yeah, because the taste coming from Chandra, coming from moon, and how the sun is helping all the living entities to live here. Yes, but here is the thing: there is sun in the spiritual world, there is moon in the spiritual world, there is day in the spiritual world, there is night in the spiritual world. How will Krishna dance in the forest without moonlight with the gopis? It is described in the spiritual world, all the gopas, they hate moon, and all the gopis, they hate the sun. Yes, that means there is moon, there is sun. But to maintain their existence there, they don't need, they are not at all dependent on sun and moonlight. Yeah. But in order to carry on the pastime of the Lord, the sun is existing there. The moon is also existing. There is change of day and night. Yeah. During the daytime, Krishna will play with the gopas. And at night, Krishna will dance with the gopis. Therefore, during the daytime, the gopas is cursing the moon. You know, when this moon will disappear. And then during the daytime, so the gopis cursing the sun. When the sun is setting, in order for us to meet with Krishna. Yes. So all the varieties in the spiritual world exist, just like how we see here. But here is just the further reflection of the original one. Yeah. The living entities in the spiritual world does not depend on the moon sign or in the sun sign for their maintenance of their existence. But here we do. Yeah. So there is moon, there is sun, there is stars in the sky. Yeah. There is mosquitoes in the spiritual world. Do you know that? Yeah. Did I tell you that Prabhupada once he was asked, Srila Prabhupada, is there a mosquito in the spiritual world? Prabhupada said, yes, but all these mosquitoes, they are chanting Hare Krishna. So there's mosquitoes. Yeah, in the Bhagavatam, second canto, chapter 9. Yeah, second canto, chapter 9, it is described that there is demon also in the spiritual world, but they are all devotees. Yeah, it is described that both the devatas and the demons in the spiritual world, they are performing devotional service. Yeah, so there is moon and sun, but they are carry on the function in order to make the pastime of the Lord happen. Yeah, but in order to maintain their existence, they are completely not dependent on the moon sign or on the sun sign. Yeah. But they do exist. Yes. Okay. So this is the qualities of the spiritual world. Yes. And this verse is talking about that we are the part and parcel of God. Yes. Mamayvam sajiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manasasta nindriyani prakriti sthanam. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragment of part. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. Yeah, so the mind is actually the leader amongst all the senses. Yeah. In this verse, the identity of the living beings is clearly given. The living entity is fragmental part and parcel of the Supreme Lord eternally. It is not that he assumes individuality in this conditioned life and in his liberated state becomes one with the Supreme Lord. He is eternally fragmented. It is clearly said, Sanatana. According to the Vedic version, the Supreme Lord manifests and expands himself in innumerable expansions, of which the primary expansions are called Vishnu Tattva, and the secondary expansion are called the living entities. The word mamam, mamaivam saha, fragmental parts and parcel of the Supreme Lord, are also very significant. The fragmental portion of the Supreme Lord is not like some material broken part. We have already understood in the second chapter that the spirit cannot be cut into pieces. This fragmental is not materially conceived. It is not like matter, which can be cut into pieces and joined together again. That conception is not applicable here because the Sanskrit word sanatana, eternal, is used. Yeah. So we are part and parcel of Krishna. What does it mean? We are the expansion of the Lord. But what kind of expansion? Secondary expansion. Because as Srila Prabhupada mentioned here, the primary expansions are the Vishnu Tattvas. Yeah, the Vishnu Tattvas, starting from Balaram Chaturvyuha, and then from the first Chaturvyuha here, the second Chaturvyuha, and from the Sankarsana of the second Chaturvyuha appear the the Purusa avatars, yeah, Mahavishnu, Garbhodakasaya Vishnu, and Kshirodakasaya Vishnu. And there are so many avatars, yeah, appearing from Kshirodakasaya Vishnu. Yes, these are all Vishnu Tattvas, considered to be the primary expansion of the Lord. And the Jivas, also expansion of the Lord, because we are the Mama Amsa. Yeah? We are Krishna's Amsa. We are Krishna's part and parcel. But we are in different tattvas with those who are Vishnu tattvas. Yeah? We are the Jiva tattvas, the living entities. Although we are part, sometimes I was thinking like this, okay, we are part and parcel of Krishna. That means we come from Krishna. We come from Krishna's body, isn't it? What does it mean, part and parcel? That means we come from Krishna's body. Then why the theory of merging into Krishna is wrong here? How do you resolve this problem? Anybody would like to give me some solution? If I am part and parcel of Krishna, that means I'm coming from Krishna's body. Then what's wrong if I merge back to my origin? Srila Prabhupada mentioned in this purport that this merging philosophy is not applicable here because of the word sanatana. Yeah, eternally separated entities from Krishna. Although we are part and parcel of Krishna, yeah, but we are totally individually separate entities from Krishna. Is that confused all of us here? I'm still confused, honestly.
I'm also confused, Prabhuji.
Yes. So this subject matter is not at all easy to understand. Yeah. Sometimes I was consulting with some senior devotees such as Srila Prabhupada's disciple. What does it mean that we are part and parcel of Krishna? That means at one point of a time, we are created from Krishna's body. We are coming out from Krishna's body. That's how I understand that I am part and parcel of Krishna. But then, if I'm being the part and parcel of Krishna, wanting to merge into my origin, but why I cannot do that? That means, yes. Let's hear first from Rati Manjari Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
That's pranam. Prabhu, I think when we come into the material world, we are conditioned by the three modes and we become, we lose out on that pure consciousness. We need to elevate it again to go back. That's my understanding. I may be wrong. I'm just trying to answer your question, Prabhu. So once we have separated from Krishna's himself, though we are part and parcel of Krishna, but then we get conditioned coming into the world. And then that is the barrier that we have to break to go back to Krishna. I mean, that's how I understand. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Okay, nice. Thank you so much, Mataji. Let's hear from Anuradha Mataji.
Prabhuji, part and parcel, like how we come from Brahma, then Brahma is further propagating the Srishti and everything. So part and parcel, we are coming through the desire of what Lord wants. But when everything is coming back, like God is taking the material world back, when Brahma closes his eyes, they say, no, after so many years, we are going back, but not the way as a, okay, I don't know how to put it forth. Yeah.
Yes, that is true. Still doesn't pacify my mind. Let's hear from Sudamayi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hmm.
Like how Prabhupada tells that part and parcel is meant to serve the whole. So like that I understand. If we merge, then there is no chance of serving Krishna, no, Prabhu.
Right.
So that's why we have to remain separate and serve.
Yes. Yeah, very good. Yes, thank you so much. Yes. Like part and parcel of my body. Yeah, my hand is part of my body. Yeah, so
Yes.
my hand should serve. Yeah, my hand cannot chew the food separately and thinking that by chewing the food, this hand will get some energy. Yeah, but by serving the body, yeah, taking the food, bring it to the mouth and transfer into the stomach, then this hand will get energized. Yes, that's nice. Thank you so much. So Sanatanaha, come back to this word. Prabhupada emphasized on this word, Sanatanaha, eternally. Yeah, we are eternally separated, part and parcel of Krishna. So we cannot merge. So merging in our understanding is that when we go back to the spiritual world and merging our desire in order to serve God. That's not. If we want to merge to become God, that is not at all possible. Yes. Okay. Manasastan indriyani, the mind. Yeah. We struggle mostly because of our mind. Yeah, we struggle mostly because of our mind. Even if someone is saying bad word to us, if our mind is remain sober, then we will not feel hurt. Yeah, we struggle only because mostly due to our mind. Yes, the mind will drag us, here and there. Oh, come on, you should do this, you should do that, you should buy this, you should buy that. Yeah. So the mind, somehow or other, is always giving us a lot of temptation. Yeah. The mind will tell us what to do. Yes. So unless we direct in the service of Lord, then the mind cannot be controlled. Yeah. So controlling the mind is not at all easy. Yeah, but that's the principle. Therefore, Bandur Atmat Manas Tattva, Yenat Maivat Manajitaha, Anat Manas to Satruve Vatetat Maimas. The mind can become our friend, and also the mind can be our enemies. Yeah, depending on whether we can control the mind or not. Yeah. Okay, the living entity, next one. The living entity in the material world carries its different conception of life from one body to another. As the air carries aroma, thus it takes one kind of body and again quits to take another. Here, the living entity is described as a Swara, controller of his own body. If he likes, he can change his body to a higher grade. And if he likes, he can move to a lower class. Minor independence is there. The change his body undergoes depends upon him. At the time of death, the consciousness he has created will carry him on the next type of body. If he has made his consciousness like that of a cat or dog, he is sure to change to a cat's or dog's body. And if he has fixed his consciousness on godly qualities, he will change into the form of a demigod. And if he is in Krishna consciousness, he will be transferred to Krishna Loka in the spiritual world and will associate with Krishna. Yeah. So Mana, Buddhi, Ahankar, these are the subtle body. Yeah, the subtle body will carry the soul to the next gross body. Yes. So Yam Yam Wapi Smaran Bhava, come back to that verse again. That whatever we remember at the time of death, then that kind of life we will get. And what we remember at the time of death is mostly what we perform while we are living in the body. So we cannot think that, oh, let me enjoy now and I will think about Krishna at the time of death. The pastime of Ajamila is happened only once in the history. That's why it is recorded in the Bhagavatam. Only the special case, special souls will be recorded in the pages of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And never think that I am as special as Ajamila. If everybody is thinking like that, then nobody is surrendering to Krishna. Because everybody is thinking that, oh, I still have some plan. I will surrender to Krishna only at the time of death. But we never know, right? When we will die, we never know. Yeah, maybe after a few seconds, we never know. A complete healthy person sometimes die unexpectedly. Yes, so we never know. Yeah. So better to surrender from now. Better to train our mind to remember Krishna from now. Yes. So, depending on our activities, the Lord understands that to be our desire. Yeah. One time, Srila Prabhupada was in a park. And then in this park was close to not an airport, but where there some military training of riding the aeroplane, yes, small jets. Yes, and it was like so noisy, you know, one plane, one jet coming after another and leaving like, and then making some movement on the air like this. And Srila Prabhupada said to the devotees that yes, in the next life they will become a fly. Yeah, they will become fly. Then they will fly so freely, making all this noise and different movement. Yeah. One time Srila Prabhupada was walking also on the beach in Hawaii, and there are so many surfers. And Srila Prabhupada said, look at these people, they are enjoying so much on this surfing water, and for sure Krishna will give them the body of a fish in the next time. So sometimes we don't realize that actually what I'm doing now is actually a form of my desire that what I want to be in my next life. Yeah. One time I was talking with one lady. I invited her to our center for a Sunday feast program. So during prasadam, we have some conversation about life after death. Yes. So I was just throwing a random question. So what you would be, what you want to be in your next life? Yeah, because we are talking that this should be our last life, just go back to God. And then she said, oh, if I get a chance to become something in my next life, I just want to become an owl. You know this bird, owl? Yes, owl. I asked, why you want to become an owl? She said, oh, it looks so cute. Yeah, it looks so cute. Then I said, why don't you want to become a cat? And it's also cute. So this is the way of people thinking. You know. But then depending on your behavior, so Yamaraj is actually the agent of the Lord, and Yamaraj has his secretary. His name is Chitragupta. Why he got the name Chitragupta? Chitra means eyes. Gupta means hidden. The hidden eyes. Sometimes you think that, oh, I'm doing this, nobody is seeing it. But Chitragupta is always there to witness us. Therefore, he has all the record of what good and bad we are doing. Yes. So the famous pastimes of Jaga and Madai, after they surrender to Lord Chaitanya, right? That incident that Madai struck Lord Nityananda's head, and finally Lord Nityananda begged Lord Chaitanya to give them shelter. Yes, so as soon as they surrendered to Lord Chaitanya, so what happened was there's a little confusion in Patalaloka. Yes, so Yamaraj was asking Chitragupta the record of Jaga and Madai, because Chitragupta was preparing to drag Jaga and Madai to hell. It is described that under Chitragupta, he also has like hundreds of people working, yes, for him, just to write down all the sins that Jaga and Madai has performed. And never, she never skipped anything. And all the sins that Jaga and Madai performed is actually making the assistant of Chitragupta exhausted to write down what they are doing. But then, as soon as Lord Chaitanya gave them shelter, now Lord Chaitanya's body becomes black. From golden becomes blackish. Yes. And then Advaita Acharya was asked by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so Advaita, how do I look now? And Advaita Acharya said, you look like Shyama Sundar, blackish. Yes. But then in Patalaloka, now Yamaraj was asking Chitragupta, so now this Jaga and Madai has surrendered to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Let me see their book of record. And then all these writings in their diary book, let's say like that, is completely nullified. There is only a blank page. Can you imagine? It becomes a blank page. Now they become pure. No more sinful reaction for them. So that's the power of surrendering to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yes. So all of us still have the hope, right? Still have the hope. Why it's so easy for them to surrender to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? It is described that just like Ajamil also, why he gets this chants, you know, the shelter of the Lord. Why? Because he never associates with devotees. Therefore, he never commit Vaishnava path. Yes, he never commit Vaishnava path because he never associate with devotees. So this chanting of Narayan, Narayan is actually Namabhasha. That help him a lot. That's the explanation. All right, so this is about the transformation of body. Yeah, change of the bodies. We have discussed this in chapter 2. Okay. Move to the next one. The living entity thus taking another gross body, obtain a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular sense of sense object. In other words, Prabhupada explained, if the living entity adulterates his consciousness with the qualities of cats and dogs, in his next life he gets a cat or dog body and enjoys. Consciousness is originally pure like water, but if we mix water with a certain color, it changes. Similarly, consciousness is pure, for the spirit soul is pure, but consciousness is changed according to the association of the material qualities. Real consciousness is Krishna consciousness, and therefore one is situated in Krishna consciousness, is in this pure mind. You see, it's interesting actually. Just like water, yeah. Actually, you can you can drink directly the rainwater. In some places in Indonesia, in near Papua New Guinea, so where water is very hard to find, our devotees there, they harvest the rain. Yeah, they harvest the rain. They made like huge pond and put tarpaulin, just to harvest the rainwater. So the rainwater is very pure, actually. Yes, and it can be drank correctly, and there is no problem. Yeah. The best example is like the Chataka bird. Yeah, the Chataka bird always expecting to drink water from the cloud directly. The Chataka bird doesn't want to drink water, although that water is clean, let's say. It is already touches the ground, the Chataka bird won't. The Chataka bird will always open its beak under the cloud and simply drink only from the cloud. And just directly the rainwater. That's the nature of Chataka bird. Yes. So by the way, water is pure. Yeah. So the soul also pure. The consciousness is pure. But as soon as it gets in touch and associated with the three modes of material nature, then one's mind becomes colored. And the consciousness becomes colored, depending on which mode we are associated with. Yes. The water from the sky is transparent. As soon as it touches the ground, it becomes brown because of the association of the dust. Okay. So the pure spirit soul is actually always pure. The consciousness is always pure, but it becomes color, contaminated with different types of desire. Extent the foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this. Jnana Chaksusa. Yes. Vimudha Nanu Pashanti Pashanti Jnana Chaksusa. The word Jnana Chaksusa is very significant. Without knowledge, one cannot understand how a living entity leaves his present body, nor what form of body he is going to take in the next life, nor even why he is living in a particular type of body. This requires a great amount of knowledge understood from Bhagavad Gita, and similarly, literature is heard from a bona fide spiritual master. Yes, for us, the science is easy to understand. Yeah, the changes of the body, why we get the body like this now, why some soul gets the body in different, types of species. It's due to one's karma. But those who don't have this vision, who don't have this knowledge, so for them, like, it's impossible to understand this very simple science. Yeah. Why a soul get a body of a dog? Let's say, for example, like that. For us, it's easy to understand because he was behaving like a dog in his previous life. Therefore, he gets the body of a dog. Yeah. But some people so foolish that they don't even think that how they get the present body. Why they get the present body now. So the science of karma is easy to understand for those who get this real information from the books such as Bhagavad Gita. But for some, it's like something beyond their mind, somehow or other. They could not accept. They could not accept the existence of the soul even. I was told that long time ago, I was told, maybe 10 years ago, I was told that there was an article mentioning that actually finally now doctor has found out that soul is existing within the body. Because this doctor was doing some operation and all parts of the body is complete. Yeah, it's complete. There is nothing missing. Yeah. But still could not save the life of a person. Then they conclude there must be something which is called the living force. But what is that living force? It's the spirit soul. Right? As soon as the soul is gone, then the body is dead, although it's completely, according to the material science, some part, all the parts of the bodies is still okay. It could run properly. But when the soul is gone, it's gone. Yeah. So Jnana Chakshusha, one who can see it through the real knowledge. Yeah. How the body moves from one another. Text 11. The endeavoring transcendentalist was situated in self realization can see all this clearly, but those whose mind are not developed and who are not situated in self-realization cannot see what is taking place, though they may try. In the present day, there are many so-called yogis. There are many so-called associations of yogis, but they are actually blind in the matter of self-realization. They are simply addicted to some sort of gymnastic exercise and are satisfied if the body is well built and healthy. They have no other information. They have no other information. They are called yatanto vyaktamanaha. Even though they are endeavoring in so-called yoga system, they are not self-realized. Such people cannot understand the process of transmigration of the soul. Only those who are actually in the yoga system and have realized self, the world, and the Supreme Lord, in other words, the Bhakti yogis, those engaged in pure devotional service, in Krishna consciousness can understand how things are taking place. Yes. So, as I mentioned, only devotees can understand the signs of the soul transmigrating from one body to another body. Okay. So up to this point, Krishna again and again explaining about the transmigration of the soul. Yeah. In the beginning of chapter 15, we have seen how Krishna explained that this material world is compared just like the aswata, the banyan tree, which actually the root going up, the branches going down. That's actually the reflection, the perverted reflection of the original tree, which is the spiritual world. The Vedas is the the leaves is the Vedic hymn, and then this tree is based on desire. That water where this tree is reflected is the desire, yeah, our desire, and the tree is nourished by the three modes of material nature. Yeah. Once the soul is being influenced by some particular modes of nature, he creates his karma. And Krishna gave us the solution. Nirmana Moha Jita Sangha Dosa in text number 5. And this is the process of surrendering. When one surrenders to Krishna, one will attain the spiritual world. And then in the next verse, Krishna give us a glimpse of the qualities of the spiritual world. And then Krishna going on with the transformation of the body. Yeah. So up to this point, any questions? If there's no question, then we can stop here. Somehow today I feel so weak, not so enthusiastic. By the way, I apologize that I put up in the group chat the class will start at 8:30. Somehow I messed up with that. All right.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Gita Marita Mataji.
Yes, yes.
Prabhuji, the class started at 8 o'clock.
Yes.
Oh, I missed half an hour. I was waiting till 8:30.
Yeah, that's fine. That's my mistake. I apologize for that.
Sorry, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Gita Marita Mataji would
Yes,
like to say
yes,
something.
Prabhu. We are part and parcel of Krishna. I think
Mm.
from the beginning, like when we are coming from Krishna, then from where did we get this desire?
Interesting. But that word beginning, you cannot track it out when it was. Anyway, that's interesting. That's interesting. It's remained a huge mystery actually. Maybe one day when we go back home, back to Godhead, we can ask Krishna directly. But first, just keep aside that, time of immemorial. Therefore, sometimes the soul, it is described that there is no beginning, there is no end for the soul. But clearly, we coming from Krishna because we are part and parcel of Krishna. But when we start our journey of being individual soul, that time is nobody can tell us. Yeah, nobody can tell us. Better ask Krishna directly. So now our main concern should be we must go back home, back to Godhead, meet Krishna, and make a note what I should ask to Krishna when I meet Krishna directly. I was told by His Holiness Ramai Swami Maharaj that when he was a child, so he used to go to the church with his mother. And before going to the church, his mother would write something on a paper. Yeah. And then he asked his mother, what is that? And his mother said that this is the list that what I want to ask from God. Yeah. So you can make your own list now. And when you go back to Goloka Vrindavan, you can read out that list. But now our concern is that let's go back home first, then ask Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Please read the rest of the chapter because I'm expecting to finish up chapter 15 on the Sunday morning.